Hi everyone, William here. Apologies for the period of silence. Some of you may have been wondering what happened to me. I mentioned that I would be in transit and before leaving that everything would be kind of hectic, which indeed is turning out to be the case. I should stop right here and say this is the Grand Duke Dmitri YouTube series. And yeah, so I was due to leave on Thursday, and now my flight has been pushed back, my flight to Paris, so I won't be leaving till the following Monday. I wish that was not the case. I would have preferred the original date, but on the other hand, it gives me, it's a godsend to have the additional time when you're going to be gone for more than 2 months. Of course, there are a lot of loose ends to tie up before you go. So yeah, things will continue to be a little topsy-turvy, and I'll be doing these when I can, and then resuming, probably not in France, where at most I'll be for a couple days, but in Switzerland in Davos at Schatzalp, Hotel Schatzalp, which used to be Sanatorium Schatzalp, which is where Dmitri died in 1942, where he spent the end of his life. All right, so our recap, we were doing this. I feel particularly bad because we're right in the middle of this letter of 11th May. It's a long letter that he wrote to his sister, and I'm not sure. I mean, whenever we're doing something that's one piece, a letter or something like that, I prefer not to leave it hanging. You want to keep the momentum going on that letter, so I particularly apologize for that. So anyway, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be resuming that letter. And he started writing it on the 11th of May, but he did not sit down and write it all at once. So the part we're doing today will actually be from the next day, the 12th of May. So the recap, on 11th May, Nicholas received a member of the Spanish royal family. Dmitri doesn't name this person. He just calls him the Spaniard. I believe it was the Duke of Madrid, but I'm not certain of that. So if any of you have at hand Nicholas's diaries, the published volume of Nicholas's diaries, then, and you can look and see what Spaniard, what member of the Spanish royal family it actually was. Yeah, that would be helpful. Sorry about that I haven't tracked that down. Anyway, I don't know why Dmitri must have been a little bit confused himself about who this man was, because ordinarily he does give people's names. But anyway, on that particular day, as Dmitri was writing, he told Maria that Nicholas was having lunch with this Spanish royal, and would be receiving a tunic, a Spanish military tunic, and then there was going to be a dinner that evening, and Dmitri would be present at the dinner. And now we've moved on to the 12th, but we will be returning to that dinner, and we'll be getting a full and amusing description of that dinner. So again, Dmitri had a tendency to do this. Whether it was his diaries or letters, he would sort of jump around in time, go forward, go backward, and it can make things kind of confusing. The other thing he talked about on the 11th May was he would be leaving soon. He'd be leaving on the 17th of May to take this extended trip, going to Paris, where he would meet Marie. They would visit their father, and then Dmitri would go on to Sweden with her, and he was anxious that they should be staying at the same hotel in Paris. It sounded like he was afraid that there'd been some kind of mix-up and they'd be put in separate hotels, so that was something that he was writing about. Anyway, I think that's enough of a recap, so let's resume on the 12th of May. That is old style, the Julian calendar, incidentally. All right, here we go. We'll be leaving Tsarskoye on 17th May, and that same morning there will be a review of the cuirassiers and the 4th Rifle Battalion for the Spaniard. and naturally I want to see it, and I'll ask if I can attend. Masses of people are asking about you, where you are, etc. So I have to repeat the same things 100 times. That you went to Venice, that in Baden it was terribly hot, that you're very content. My window is open and I'm terribly cold. I told you that today was warm and that I wasn't freezing in my light tunic. Okay, so now he stops and then resumes. I just now returned from tea at Uncle Nicky's. Aunt Minnie was there, and Misha and Olga and Petya. Aunt Minnie seemed to be in excellent spirits and laughed and was very lively. I forgot to describe what I did today, so that's the first sentence of the next paragraph, and I left it in because that gives you an idea of what we'll be doing next time. He's going to describe what he did that day. So anyway, this is very short. Very short. So apologies for that. I come back after 4 days and I offer you something very short. But with this particular letter, not only has it not been translated, but I haven't transcribed it yet onto my computer. So I'm doing that. The handwriting and the quality of the photocopy is particularly bad. So it's a little more time consuming, which again, the timing's not great to be working on a letter that's actually kind of time consuming anyway. This particular video is mostly me rambling, but let's go through and see what's happening here. So people are interested. So people are interested in what's going on with Maria. That is quite understandable. She was married, I believe, in April. It's now May. It sounds like she was on her honeymoon. I did not refer to her memoirs. I have both volumes of her memoirs. I should have referred to them. But yeah, it sounds like she was on her honeymoon. She and William went to Venice and Baden and maybe some other places. I don't know. But anyway, Dmitri is being asked by everybody he sees in Tsarskoye and in Petersburg, oh, what's going on with your sister? Where did she go to her honeymoon? How's everything going? Is she happy? So he's answering those questions, and we all know what it's like when there's something like that going on in our lives and people are wanting to know about it. And so every person you see, you have to give an account of that. He says she's very happy, but she's very content. So that's good. You know, the impression I get from these 1908, 1909 letters is that she was, at that time, doing well. But it will be interesting to go and compare this to what she said about that time in her life, in her memoirs. Okay. Then there's this family tea. So that's interesting. It is at Uncle Nicky's, Dmitri says. So that would be the Alexander Palace. And if Alex is there, if Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna is there, and the children are there, then Dmitri doesn't mention it. I don't know that he would necessarily mention it. I kind of think he would, but I'm not necessarily sure that he would. This may have been, this is Nicky's family. This is Nicholas II's family, his mother and two of his siblings. And so, maybe Alex and the children were either because Alex wasn't into it or because, I doubt it was because Nicholas wanted to spend this particular time with his family, because otherwise Dmitri wouldn't be there. So maybe Alex was there. I don't know. Again, if any of you have Nicholas's diaries at hand, you can let me know what he says about this tea. So the whole family is there, of Nicholas's family, except Ksenia and Sandro. So I don't know where they were at. But the Dowager Empress, Aunt Minnie, was, I think, 59 years old, so not elderly. It's not surprising that she was lively, I guess. Misha was 29, Olga was 26, and her husband was 39. So you get an idea of Dmitri was 16, and he's there with, the youngest. The other youngest person was more than 10 years older than him, Misha. this is our friend, very typical of him, that he's always sort of aware and reporting on people's moods. So I don't know if there would have been any reason in particular why the Dowager Empress should have been in low spirits, but Dmitri makes a point of saying that she was in high spirits and having a good time. And, you know, he always got along with her. He always really liked her, both before and after the revolution, and she seemed to like him. Misha, for a while, if you remember the videos of the 1906 or 1906, 1907 diary entries, he looked up to Misha. He kind of adored Misha for there for a while as a kind of older brother. Olga is the exception. Dmitri and Olga never hit it off. They never really liked each other. It was mutual. Oh, my dog. Okay. And those of you who know Olga know that she ended up getting a divorce from her husband and marrying a man who she loved. It was a real love match. She married, it was a morganatic marriage. But yeah, this was a royal marriage with Petya, who was the Duke of Oldenburg. Gosh, I hope I didn't get that wrong. I didn't jot that down. And yeah, but the only person that Dmitri tells us anything about mood-wise or anything else is the Dowager Empress. So again, as with the dinner, the court dinner for the Spanish royal, Dmitri is first telling us that it happened and then giving us a description of it. And that will be the case throughout the diary. So the best is yet to come, as they say. And yeah, next time we have his account of what he did that day. Some very amusing things. It was a Sunday. So I hope you'll come back for that. I hope it will be tomorrow, should be. It's Sunday today, the 22nd, so I hope I will be doing another video on Monday, the 23rd. And it seems like it's an opportune moment to say goodbye, so see you next time.